Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/get-started. That's GREENLIGHT.com/get-started.
But he looks like he's fighting a three-headed monster, though.
Yeah, right. But how is a gigantic lizard fighting an even bigger three-headed monster in the city supposed to save that city?
You literally ruin everything.
Hey, guys. Do not go in there.
Why shouldn't we go into the studio?
Okay. I shouldn't have to explain this, but this week's essay is about Rodney King. And a few minutes ago, I saw Eli walk in there with 4 bats, a can of black shoe polish, and a few police uniforms with the asses cut out of the pants.
Oh, gross.
And that's not all. Look at this script.
Holy shit. No. God, did you even write that?
I've never seen. Is that every single black racial slur as a Disney song?
Yeah, I feel like he had to have made some of these up. And look at page 4.
No, I'm not doing that.
I think that's actually a hate crime.
So what do we do?
How about we just go over to my place to record today?
Well, just like leave him in there?
I'm in. Let's do it. Let's do that.
It's the only way we get out of this, Tom.
All right. Someone text Heath and tell him where we'll be, all right?
Hey, guys. What's up? Sorry I'm late. So, what do you think? You guys like the police outfit? It's pretty good, right?
Oh, God.
The episode?
Don't turn around. Don't turn around.
Oh, dude.
Oh, but hey, Heath, come on. I don't think the nightstick is supposed to go there.
Oh, okay, Mr. Police Expert. Where am I supposed to put it then?
Hello and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts, because this is the internet, and that's how it works now. I'm Noah, and I'm going to be beating the truth out of this episode, but to get from here to there, I'm going to need a jury of my peers, Tom, Heath, and Cecil.
Oh, this is the first time anyone ever considered me a peer.
Aw.
I realize, legally, that means that we're all best friends, everybody here. Today, on this episode, we are all best friends.
Best friends. Yeah. Best friends. Yep. Official.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention. I was writing in my diary. Best day ever.
Best friends. Best friends. Best friends. Best friends.
Hells yeah. So now you may have noticed that Eli...
Would you stand up and walk down? Let me on. I'm trying to sing out of key.
He's not gonna
Everybody, get by with a little help from my friend.
As you may have noticed, Eli isn't here. I'm not going to say where Eli is or why it's not here, but I am going to use this as a segue to remind people that when members of our cast find themselves in Nicaraguan prisons, they turn to Patreon funds to help get them home. So if you'd like to learn how to join our Patreon ranks, be sure to stick around to the end of the show. And with that out of the way, tell us, Tom, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event will we be talking about today?
All right, today we will be talking about Rodney King, because I guess we like to keep both current and controversy free. So,
well, there you go.
Huzzah us. Right. It's going to go well.
All right. So, Heath, you read the article and carefully timed this essay for a week when Eli was off. Are you ready to elucidate us?
I am indeed ready. We reviewed a movie with an African-American little person with a speech impediment this week on God Awful Movies. 0 hate crimes in that episode. So, just saying, let's
take advantage
see if
of
we can
it
keep that streak going
Eli's away
today.
So, who was Rodney King?
Because America hates black people, Noah. So, Rodney King was a very bad driver who later became an activist for civil rights and against police brutality after he was almost beaten to death by a team of white police officers who got mad when he tried to outrun them and resist being arrested. And apparently he did all those things whilst blacking, which was highly frowned upon.
That's a mistake.
Following he said frowned upon. I love the past tense.
Yeah, wrong tense perhaps. So following the incident, those officers were put on trial for using excessive force, and despite shockingly clear evidence of their guilt, they were acquitted. And this all happened in Jackson, Mississippi in the 1850s. Wait, no, sorry. This happened in Los Angeles, California in the 1990s.
Yeah.
And this all led to the LA riots of 1992. Also, centuries of racism before that was a contributing factor. Riots.
Into it, yeah.
To be determined. I don't know. Okay, but we've all seen that video by now. And I don't know. You can clearly see Rodney attacking the officers with his blood spatters. So probably very good people.
Yeah, no, the jury sure could. Yeah.
Look, if it wasn't dangerous, they wouldn't make you put it in those special little red bags.
He's reaching for his blood spatter.
Looking back, I thought some of this shining a light on this kind of racism would be the straw that broke the camel's back. It just turns out that camel does not skip leg day. It just keeps on going.
I'm just picturing like a jacked camel right now. Is everybody else picturing just like Joe Camel just like
doing
fucking squatting hard?
He's doing his PR with straw like the size of Rhode Island. He's like, whatever, bitches. Roar.
Got calves the size of cantaloupes. Yeah. So I'll start with a quick background on Rodney King's early life. He was born in Sacramento, California in 1965 and grew up in Los Angeles along with his 4 siblings. His father was known to be a violent alcoholic, but not necessarily a raging alcoholic. There was no data to confirm rage, just to be clear. And his father died at the age of 42 when Rodney was 19.
Okay, good. Just making a note. Violent, but not raging. Cool. That changes it all. That's the whole
Everybody
new
should note
perspective.
that.
Yeah, no, here on Citation Needed, we don't want to paint all our violent alcoholics with the same broad brush.
Exactly. You could be a very calm, violent person. You don't know. I'm just trying to let's get some nuance into the story.
That's way scarier.
You don't know. All right. One other detail that your high school class full of Irish cops will definitely tell you about, as if it somehow relates to a team of police beating up an unarmed man. Rodney King already had a criminal history before that incident that made him a household name. In 1989, he robbed a convenience store, stealing $200 in cash. He got caught, and he ended up spending a year in prison before getting out on parole. And I guess in the early 90s, cops would determine the amount of beating they did based on the criminal history that everybody yells out at the beginning of a traffic stop. So that's how they knew how much beating to give. Well, it's either that or I'm calling everyone in the bar a liar. It's one of those two things.
Little known fact though, Heath, when you get hit with a nightstick, your rap sheet shoots out of you like Sonic's rings. It just shoots. It's like your TP in a house.
That's why that first strike, that's an investigatory strike. That's how that works.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, you joke, but LA cops had spent a lot of time making sure all the black people had criminal records so you could tell from a distance. You didn't have to hit anybody.
Yeah. So the important part of the story begins on March 3rd, 1991. Rodney King is driving down the Interstate 210 in Los Angeles, along with his 2 friends, Bryant Allen and Freddie Helms. And again, all 3 of them are doing this blackly, just to give you plenty of context. At 12:30 a.m., officers Tim and Melanie Singer of the California Highway Patrol caught Mr. King speeding and tried to pull him over. But King had been drinking that night, and he knew a DWI was a parole violation that would get him sent back to jail. So he decided to take a shot at outrunning the police in his 1987 Hyundai Excel.
Jesus.
Didn't go great.
Wait, hold on a second. Tim and Melanie Singer,
right?
They were married? Yeah. How weird is that? This looks like the 925 from the earlier robbery.
Mm-hmm.
Should we get backup?
Mm-hmm.
Are you listening to me, Timothy?
What? Yeah, of course, babe.
Wait, what did I say?
You said you were okay with chicken, but you could also do Mexican.
That was half an hour ago. You aren't even paying attention to me.
Oh, no, I was. You said there was a 904 in progress.
I want a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, married police, probably not the best idea. As partners, too. Feels like they could just not be partners. I don't know. They could be like anywhere else.
Right? You
Who
could
let
just
them do
switch
that?
these.
I will say there's a lot of marriages where they're not partners. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, point being, lots of mistakes in the LAPD manual at this point. So we'll get to a bunch of the others in a second. So Rodney King exits the freeway and starts racing through some residential streets while his two friends, I'm assuming, were screaming at him to pull over and probably getting a head start on the beating that he's about to get. But King ignores his friends and the cops and keeps trying to get away, during which time several more police cars join the pursuit, along with a police helicopter. Finally, after about 8 miles of running, King gets cornered and gives up the chase.
You know what I love, guys? You know what? I love that we don't have enough money in our budgets to make sure that, like, kids all eat lunch. Like, that's good. But, like, we'll employ a helicopter to catch a guy speeding in a Hyundai. Those are our priorities out loud.
Wait, for 8 miles, like, so within the 8 miles, we'll deploy one. Where was the helicopter to begin with? Was he just there for lighting?
Another helicopter for key lighting, and then another one for
There's a backlight there. There's a boom helicopter just floating over.
Yeah, so his car is finally stopped, and he's surrounded by police officers. Tim and Melanie Singer, who originally tried to pull him over, and also the first set of LAPD officers to arrive on the scene. Those officers were Stacy Kuhn. Lawrence.
What was his name now? Hold on, what?
Yep.
I don't know if I'm more surprised that he is Stacy or if the last name is Kuhn, given the circumstances. I feel flummoxed on all sides right now.
A white guy named Stacy Kuhn. A white guy. These are all white guys. Also Lawrence Powell, Timothy Wind, and Theodore Berzano. So Officer Tim Singer orders everyone out of the car, tells them to lie face down on the ground. King's two friends, Alan and Helms, they both go ahead and start doing that. But apparently they needed some help with the lying on the ground in the form of kicking, stomping, and clubbing to the head, according to their account. And also some racially charged taunting during that process, which, to be clear, was being performed by a team of white police officers from 1991. So it must have been just rough. Like if the four of us tried to start freestyle rapping right now, like that level of rough, like middle school assembly bad.
You know, you'd be really hard on these guys. This is how you help someone out of your seat. Have you flown United?
Wait, Cecil, I'm confused because, like, these were black guys, not Asian doctors. I'm confused. Just to be clear, like, we're not beating the white people, right? I just want to make sure.
This is the 90s. It was different, but it wasn't that different. But important note, right? Like, so the two guys who followed police instructions to the letter and weren't driving also got beaten, right? We should all keep that in mind. So what of Mr. King?
Yeah. So meanwhile, there's another unfortunate issue happening here with Rodney King getting out of the car. Apparently he was drunk and also 6'3", 225 pounds, trying to exit a Hyundai Excel Matchbox car. So basically, like, this is me every time I'm in the aisle seat and Eli's in the middle seat of the Ryanair economy cabin, and he has to shit 12 times during a 1 hour flight, and it's just really awkward.
If fucking Eli was a transformer, he'd be a porta potty truck with a leak called Shit Streak.
Well, I mean, we can call him whatever we want. He doesn't have to be a transformer.
That's a good point. I feel like streak implies a solid a little bit more than the real situation. So like shit puddle. I think he could be shit puddle.
Shit smear?
Shit smear?
Is that no?
Shit smear.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, he's Jewish. He'll be schmear, right? It's a shit schmear.
Okay, that's locked in. Shit schmear. So Yeah, Rodney King, he's dealing with big guy seat stuff, and that's tough. Yeah, I mean, based on my experience, that means like, you know, the seat belt's getting stuck in your side fat, and you're trying to get to the buckle, but the side fat's kind of surrounding it, and it's tricky. You're doing advanced yoga to extract your knees from the dashboard. That's tough. Then you got to overcome the friction of twisting your back fat against the upholstery and your jacket at the same time. It's a whole thing. Point being, whatever's happening, it takes Rodney King a bit longer to get out of the car than his friends.
Fuck's sake, like, this sounds terrible, but like 6'3", 225, he's struggling. I'm 5'8", 225. I need the jaws of life to change the radio. Are you kidding me?
You got to get that voice-activated Amazon car thing,
Jesus Christ. I am seriously 5'8", 225. 6'3", 225 doesn't seem that big to me.
Yeah, so
5 extra inches. I knew he was black, but Jesus.
That's more than 5 extra inches. Anyway, so
Yeah, it's it.
6 inches?
It sure is.
6
Sure is.
in total, right?
Sure
We're
is
talking about
5 extra
totality.
inches. Yeah. So King finally.
I mean, it's 5 if we stop at 10 inches for a foot. Yeah, it's 5.
Yes, that would make it equal.
Yeah, 10 inches is a Caucasian foot. It's a different.
Yeah, no, he's 5'13". You got it. No, 6'3". That's not the same. So King finally emerges from the vehicle, all 5'13", 225 of him. And you know, it's been a little while. So if the all-white team of cops wasn't angry already, they certainly were now. And I guess King he knew he was fucked at this point. So he kind of just gave up. Started just messing around, which I totally respect. Like, you know, you're caught, just mess around. So he's making jokes now. He's doing crowd work.
Oh my God.
No, they love it. They love jokes. He's doing the jokes. He's doing the crowd work. He's blowing kisses up to the helicopter.
I do love this guy.
He literally did that. He's calling the cops massa and he's dancing around and fucking them. And at one point, he even grabbed his ass cheeks in a grand gesture of fuck all of you. So good stuff. He committed to the bit. Unfortunately, Rodney King didn't have the lessons learned from the Rodney King beating to inform his behavior. Sadly. So yeah, when he started reaching back for his butt cheeks, Officer Melanie Singer thought he might be going for a weapon, and she pulled her gun, causing several other cops to do the same thing and making the whole thing even more tense. And just for the record, he was not armed with anything between his butt cheeks or otherwise. So it was just them all pulling guns.
Yeah, right. Black guy moves 1 centimeter, nightstick. White guy waves an AK-47. Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to hold still and let this bald eagle perch on your shoulder.
Right.
You know, I'm just going to go ahead and point out that, like, all things considered, the fact that there's more story to tell after they thought the black guy had a gun tells me that maybe things have actually gotten worse rather than better. That wasn't cheerful. I thought that was going to be.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So now that Tom's on the record, technically implying that Rodney King should be grateful for how good he had it.
Why are you put words in my mouth?
Doesn't matter what
Noah?
you meant. It matters how I characterized it before
Can't we go
moved
back
on.
to your
Moving
calendar
on.
episode? Does anybody want to count the days of the week or whatever?
I get revenge is a dish best served cold. So Heath, what happened next?
All right. So this is when Stacy Kuhn.
Shut the fuck up. That can't be his name. You're making this up.
It's official. This is when Stacy Kuhn, the ranking officer at the moment, decided he's taking official command, and he told everybody to holster their weapons. And that's just about the last reasonable, non-evil thing that Stacy Kuhn did that day. The next move was ordering a swarm technique in which 4 officers moved in to grab Rodney King and forcibly handcuff him. And according to witnesses from both sides of the eventual trial, this is when Rodney King went Super Saiyan and just started tossing people off of him. They used a taser on him twice, and he was like, well, alcohol beats taser, go fuck yourself, and just kept throwing people off, and they still couldn't get him cuffed. Now, granted, resisting like that was obviously unadvisable, but it clearly didn't justify the extended clubbing attacks by a circle of cops with batons that was about to happen.
I know that this is about to get gross, but if you've ever seen the swarm technique, it's fucking super adorable because they communicate by wiggling their little butts.
As if there's ever been a cop that had a little butt. Are we absolutely certain the cops didn't know for sure that he wasn't a baby seal at this point? Like, could have been confused. Benefit of the doubt. All parties.
No, I mean, we know now because white people get really upset when you club baby seals. So,
all right. So, right after the second round of tasering from Officer Kuhn, that's when a nearby resident named George Holliday started filming the incident with his camcorder from across the street. And apparently, none of these cops noticed that happening. This is a camcorder from the 80s, by the way. So there's a guy with...
Everybody laughs because they're just picturing the same thing that your dad had. That was like super proud that he got the thing and like he could barely shoulder the fucker for like
I have to have a
2
VCR
minutes.
hooked to my belt, but yeah, it works.
Yeah, that...
Hurry up and do something fun. The battery only lasts 6 minutes.
Yeah,
that thing. There's a guy with basically a shoulder-mounted rocket launcher pointing at this hate crime scene, which has 21 cops now, and nobody noticed. Or they thought the video would help them by showing how all 56 baton strikes were justified of the man who's clearly no longer a physical threat to the large team of armed police. Either way, these cops are all stupid, racist, or both. So, at best, these cops are all stupid.
right.
At best. Spoiler, it's not going to be at best. Nothing about this story is at best.
And then there was that one cop, out of the 21 who knows that he's on camera and he sucks in his gut during the beating. So he like looks cool later on the news. But like,
yeah, right.
Also, fun fact, when a cop sucks in their gut, you can't tell. It's literally the same thing.
I do look cool when I suck in my gut. Whatever. Now, just to be 100% clear about this vicious beating, here's a few more details. Rodney King is on the ground, no longer doing any of his Super Saiyan moves. The only physical motions he's making are putting his hands up to block the vicious attack and then falling to the ground after being hit some more. And then a few involuntary spasms that go along with having your bones broken by a club while you're lying on the fucking ground. At one point during this horrible, horrible clubbing, Officer Kuhn directed his team to use, quote, power strokes. Apparently that's something they say. Apparently they were in French tickler mode at first with their metal batons and they had to switch the mode. And this is all according to the cops who did it, by the way. Officers Kuhn, Powell, and Wind thought they were explaining themselves when they said, yeah, no, that's standard procedure. You do a burst of power strokes and you're trying to hit his black wrists, knees, and ankles. Sorry, just the body words that I said. Not black. Did I say black? You said black. What? Stop staring at me.
What you do is you go ahead and protect and serve up an ass whooping.
Yeah, well, okay, but see, that's the sick truth about them ignoring the cameras at this point, right? They actually probably did think this video would be shown on TV, but the context would be like, look how badass these cops are protecting you from large speeders. I bet you kind of want to fuck the svelte one with his chest stuck out and his gut held in, huh? Normal sized butt on him, huh?
We're all laughing as if this goes badly for the cops later. Like that. I just want to point that out.
We're going to get to it. Yep. So, 2 taser shots, a bunch of kicks and stomps, 56 baton strikes, and 1 hog tie later. And the LAPD was finally able to arrest Rodney King. But instead of bringing him to the station, they went straight to the hospital because of the whole, almost beating this guy to death snafu. And that's when doctors found bruises and cuts all over him, a broken right ankle, and a literal broken face. They broke his face.
Jesus.
What the it's disgusting. And according to several nurses, the arresting officers were openly bragging about how many times they smashed their victim with their metal batons.
Yeah, and Rodney just kept saying, "No, I fell down a flight of stairs. I'll be okay. I'm just really clumsy. It was my fault. I complain a lot. I complain."
And the award for somehow making this paragraph less comfortable goes to
Not Heath. Thank you.
How many hits does it take to get to the center of a black man's face? A 1.
Oh, Jesus.
A 54.
All right, okay.
54.
All right, Tom, I have 2 awards. I brought 2 awards.
Very tired.
Kind of ruined Tootsie Pops just now. Whatever. So 2 days later, George Holliday calls the LAPD and he tells him about his video. But apparently nobody had any interest in seeing it, which is not the smartest move by the LAPD because Holliday just went to a TV news station instead and showed them the tape, and the police didn't have a chance to get out in front of this terrible, terrible tape of them. Well, not that you can really get out in front of 17 cops standing there while 4 other cops beat up an unarmed man like it was a video game practice mode, but whatever. The TV station took the video. They cut the first 13 seconds because they were out of focus, pinning that for later. And they showed the whole world exactly what happened. And this is actually sometimes cited as the beginning of the modern surveillance age, during which police brutality and institutional racism would come to an end.
Yeah.
And nope. Spoiler. Nope.
All right. Well, I guess we're going to take a quick break and wait for racial equality and the application of justice in America. Shouldn't take more than a skit or two, so we'll be back soon. He's on the ground. Swarm technique. Swarm technique. All right. Now power strokes.
Hey, Steve, what you doing there?
Just a little tactical practice, police stuff. Trying to stay sharp, keep on my A game. You never
Okay.
know when some huge black guy probably hopped up on melanin and bath salts, impossible to subdue, will run out and flash his butt at your tactical helicopter, thus endangering the lives of nearly 24 of LAPD's finest.
Yeah, no, I can see that. That's actually pretty obvious. But what I was wondering about
We spent the afternoon manfully polishing our clubs. here.
Manfully,
right,
yeah.
right. But no. Let me just finish.
A spit polish, that seemed like the least we could do.
Not sure that's true at all. But still, let me just get
And after that, we all decided to just get in some cross training, lunge.
Lunge and thrust. Exactly.
No, that's not. I mean, technically true, but okay.
So what we're working on now is our big finish, the big finish.
Yeah, 4-on-1 swarm, power strokes, ready your aim, then the big finish.
Standard police stuff.
Yeah, just standard police stuff.
Get out of my wife.
Let the lady speak for herself.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, now that we're all set up in the jury room, I just want to let you know a few things. First thing, bathrooms are in the back there. You each have a pad and paper to take notes in front of you, and you can call on me if you want any parts of the trial transcript read back to you or anything else you think you need to make a decision.
Okay,
that
sounds good. That's great.
Okay, if that's it, I'm just going to head on out. You guys need me? You just
sorry, I'm sorry. One quick question before you go. What is this slide rule thingy?
Oh, that. Yeah, that's a tool to help you decide if an officer is guilty of a crime or not.
How the hell does that work? What?
Well, you just set the police officer to white and the suspect to black and see what it says.
Not guilty. Right away.
Quick.
Okay. You folks good then?
Wait, no. I moved it from black to Asian, and it still says not guilty.
Yeah, and mine is
I don't get this.
not guilty. If the suspect was Latino, I don't
know if yours does this, guys, but mine looks like it's not guilty no matter what I do if I select cop. The rest of it doesn't seem to matter on the ruler thing.
Oh, yeah.
right.
Yep. Any other questions?
When's lunch?
Depends on how quick you can write innocent on these slips.
I already
Very
did
quickly.
And we're back, and we've already gotten 11 emails from people more incensed about this episode than they were about the actual dude getting beaten. Speaking of which, Heath.
That wasn't my email.
No, I was coming around to a different thing. I believe you were about to expound on the aftermath of this whole thing.
Yeah. So Rodney King is recovering from a large series of terrible injuries, and the city of Los Angeles had to figure out how to handle this giant scandal. And apparently they weren't sure about how the etiquette works on prosecuting the guy who almost got murdered by your police force. So their DA had to release a statement explaining that there wasn't enough evidence to pursue charges against Rodney King for drunk driving and evading arrest.
Oh.
Because otherwise, that explanation would have to involve the phrase, because we almost murdered him with clubs.
Yeah, right.
And
Yeah.
filing
Difficult.
charges would be a faux pas at that point. So, yeah, they didn't try to get him for jaywalking or broken taillight or anything like that either, even though, they'd started writing the ticket. So sloppy, but classy, I guess. And one other thing the city of Los Angeles found confusing somehow, they just couldn't decide what to do with those little scamps who almost murdered a guy on tape. But surprisingly enough, they actually started with the right move, I guess. They charged those 4 officers, Kuhn, Powell, Wind, and Brazano, with assault and with using excessive force. So I guess they started with a small fraction of the right move and decided that the other 17 officers who watched that all happen were just doing their jobs. Not doing, I guess. They were undoing their jobs so they didn't get charged with anything. It's confusing. Kind of gets zen at this point. Very tricky.
Yeah, no, Zen. That's how I was also going to describe it.
Yeah.
Yes.
The real problem is you need 21 people to arrest one person. So they used 84 guys to arrest the 4 cops. And then at that point, their batons were all bent and fucked up and everybody was working overtime. You got to stop somewhere. This shit gets out of control.
I just want to point out here, spoiler, you know who else watched it and did nothing? The legal system. The legal system did the same thing.
So the first thing to happen with the trial of those 4 officers was a change in venue. The defense for the officers argued that the media coverage was too large to have the trial happen in the city where the crime happened. Or translated back out of racist euphemies, they didn't want a jury with anyone darker than pale Filipino.
Right.
And somehow this worked. So they ended up moving the trial to Simi Valley in the suburbs. And the jury ended up being 9 white people, 1 biracial person, 1 Latino, and 1 Asian American. So that's half a black person max. Not even 0.6 like you'd hope.
Why? Because the media wasn't covering this in white America? Jesus, I remember then. You guys remember then? Unless one of your options wasn't plucking a jury from the Sentinel Islands or the 1700s, how the fuck do you even make this argument?
Successfully, I guess.
Man, being a cop and defending yourself in court has got to be like playing Contra with 30 lives,
They tell you the cheat code as you go in,
no
right? That's
kidding.
part of the training.
It's just excuse me, but you've been charged with being awesome. Let's get a beer with the VFW guys after they give you that not guilty award or whatever. Yeah, bro.
So again, maybe half a black guy on the jury. Maybe not. We don't know which races were the biracial guy. That being said, there was 1 entire black person involved, but he was the prosecutor. And his name was Terry White.
Shut the fuck
This is
up.
great. I love this.
Yep. Just to make it sound extra stupid on TV. The news was like, okay, so a black DA named White is trying to prosecute a white cop named Kuhn. I
Jesus Christ.
said that all correctly.
But who is on
Yeah.
first base?
Yeah. Well, the final verdict came out after 7 days of deliberation, and all 4 officers were acquitted of assault. And 3 out of 4 were acquitted of using excessive force.
What?
And the jury couldn't agree on that last charge for that last cop. So, end result, nobody goes to jail from this trial.
Jesus Christ. The defense just asking everyone on the stand, you see that man over there? Is he black? Yes. The defense rests.
Oh, God.
Right, yeah.
Ugh.
No, the part that I'm confused about, though, is like, what the fuck takes 7 days to decide how racist you are? Like, how does that take a week? I mean, like, guilty or not, this seems like something you can sort out on a smoke break.
Well, but to be fair, though, if you did decide not guilty, I'm a giant racist during the smoke break, I can see how you might want that last week before everyone else knew it. You know?
The lack of a single conviction from that trial, that's obviously insane. The excuse given by those supporting the officers was that the jury was heavily swayed by those 13 seconds of blurry video from the George Holiday tape that were cut by the TV news. The jury got to watch those 13 seconds. And according to the defense team, this section showed Rodney King running at Officer Powell at one point. But according to That Makes No Sense, it showed Rodney King just trying to run away because he was getting violently attacked by a gang of heavily armed assailants.
Yeah, we got to be a little clearer, because, like, if somebody runs away from the cops, is the rule infinite beating time after that? Like, sir, he's subdued. Stop. No, he was jogging earlier this afternoon. Oh, well, carry on then.
Yeah, well, early on, afternoon.
Here's a blurry tape of a black man jogging. Yeah.
You know, there's a few frames of the Zapruder film that are obscured by a sign, so we have no idea if JFK did something in there to deserve it. So,
what was he wearing?
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, Abe might have been opening hard candies in the middle of that fucking play. We don't know. You're so fucking judgmental from here.
One of the people on stage shoots at him first. Oh, fuck. You got that?
Well, right. Yeah, no, because it was an actor, right? If anyone was going to go after him.
It's just an understudy that got told, hey, run up there, man. Just fix that.
They know he's going to be the fucking president.
It's ridiculous.
We don't even have $5 bills yet.
Bring those Werthers back down, though. If he's got more, that sounds good. So they announced the verdict on the afternoon of April 29th, 1992. And in the crowd that day was movie director John Singleton. He made Boys in the Hood, among others. And Singleton was quoted as saying, by having this verdict, they lit the fuse to a bomb. And unfortunately, he was all the way correct about that. And the fuse was about 2 hours long. Later that afternoon, the 1992 LA riots started. Obviously, mass rioting is going to be terrible regardless of the location, but this is Los Angeles in 1992. The people in charge of the city are the same people in charge of hiring Officer Stacy Kuhn.
Yeah, there's that.
So just keep that in mind. And the riots ended up lasting for 6 days and resulted in 63 deaths, over 2,000 injuries, about 7,000 fires, major damages to over 3,000 businesses, and a grand total of almost $1 billion in financial losses.
Wow.
It's not clear exactly how the scoring works, but everyone lost the riots, I guess is the lesson. Don't riot. You shouldn't riot, probably.
Yeah, but if you do, try requesting a change of venue to the white suburbs.
Yeah.
Just give that a whirl.
Play an away game. Yeah.
I changed my vote. That's like the funniest way to riot if you're going to do it. That's what Tom said.
I think it's amazing we found a way to sum up the black experience in this country as 6 days of rioting and not 2 centuries of systematic racism and oppression. That marketing team of white, white, and white is really paying off, you know?
Yeah. Right. Because if only those black people in LA had thought to ask an Irish guy what they should do, we could have avoided so much damage, Heath.
I feel like I wasn't clear about what I meant just now. I was saying, like, I get
it doesn't matter what you said. It matters how I characterize
I understand the mentality of the rioting for it, but it's not a good strategy wise to get what you want. Anyway, my sentence is done. Next sentence. So the news of the verdict, it also caused smaller riots to break out elsewhere, including San Francisco, Las Vegas, Seattle, Atlanta, and New York City. And there was actually even a small riot in Toronto, which was no doubt adorable.
Yeah.
And they had a fun time.
That was actually just two Canadian guys who bumped into each other and neither apologized. Like, it's still a scandal to this day.
There's just some guy in Toronto standing over a knocked trash can screaming at America, I learned it from watching you.
And he picks up all the garbage and puts it back in very carefully.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all in the order I found it in.
Little plaque with like a Tim Hortons coffee right there. It shows that this is where it was dropped. They cleaned it up though. But none of these riots made things better is kind of the point I was making. In case it wasn't obvious, doesn't really help improve the situation for an oppressed minority if a bunch of businesses get destroyed in the neighborhood where lots of people from that oppressed minority live. Even Rodney King agreed with that at the time. 3 days into the riots, he actually went on TV and gave a speech telling everyone to cut that shit out. Here's some of his exact words. Quote, I just want to say, can we all get along? He actually coined that. People say it, can't we all just get along? But I believe that's Rodney King who kind of coined that phrase. Continuing, can we stop making it horrible for the older people and the kids? We've got enough smog in Los Angeles, let alone to deal with setting these fires and things. It's a weird angle. Whatever. Continue again. It's not going to change anything. We'll get our day in court, and that's all we want. And I'm neutral. I love people of color. It's another weird comment. Whatever. Continuing one more time. We can all get along. We just gotta. End quote. Yep. That was a lot of what he said that day.
Spoiler alert, we cannot all get along.
Yeah. And not to argue with the guy who just got his 5th birthday party knocked out of his memory by a billy club, but are we really worried about air quality? Folks, the pollen count is up. I just want to take a second and think about what we're doing here.
No, we are not worried about air quality, Cecil.
No.
Yeah, no. Fast forward. Nope,
let's double check. 2019 racism and air quality are still problems. Okay.
Still
good times.
Still burning.
Right. So it turns out Rodney King was right during his getting along speech. There would be another day in court. At least he was right about that. So soon after the riots ended, the U.S. Department of Justice got indictments on those 4 officers for violating Rodney King's civil rights. Okay, maybe the riot, maybe that helped. Anyway, again, the other 17 are fine somehow. At least it was something. At least something. Unfortunately, it turned out to be more like half of something, I guess. The second trial found Officer Kuhn and Officer Powell guilty, but Officers Wind and Brazano were once again acquitted of doing the thing they did on video that we all saw. Just to be clear, it wasn't even really half of something good because the sentencing of Kuhn and Powell was complete nonsense. Despite existing guidelines that called for a sentence in the range of 70 to 87 months, U.S. District Judge John Davies only gave them 30 months each. According to Judge Davies, the first 50 clubbings were totally legal. 50 clubbings were legal. He said that out loud during a hearing. Only the final 6 clubbings were excessive, according to this judge.
Is there a weight conversion chart they use or something?
No idea.
You know, like there was that one guy counting like 46, 47, 49. Shit, I lost count. Well, no one will ever know it's not on video.
Yeah, and that's why that cop in the Laquan McDonald case was so bewildered. He thought he had 34 more bullets to go. So he was going to be...
So Judge Davies also ruled that the specific baton strike that broke Rodney King's leg was also legal. That one was legal. Not only because it was within the perfectly reasonable and not at all excessive 50 allowable clubbings of an unarmed citizen on the ground, but also because breaking bones is actually standard protocol. According to Judge Davies, quote, Powell's baton blow that broke King's leg was not illegal because King was still resisting and rolling around on the ground.
Jesus.
Aggressive ground writhing is what the judge just described.
Christ.
He was writhing aggressively. And then he continued, breaking bones in resistant suspects is permissible under police policy, end quote, from a judge, a federal judge.
Okay, just for was anybody actually really genuinely watching that video, pretending to seriously ask, like, okay, now what about that one? That one okay? We good?
Yes.
Everybody that one?
Right. Right.
That one? Check out. Now slow it down. We'll get each one, evaluate each one on their own merit.
That's what was happening. That was literally part of the trial. Yes.
God.
Judge Davies realizes that you keep flinching until they kill you, right? Yeah. So when you're getting beaten,
They keep giving him 2. They're like 25, 2 for flinchings.
Yeah, I was going to say.
There's like a slug bug drives by. They just keep hitting him.
You
Okay.
just see it's every time.
they're
It's
like, he only flinched 25 times, guys. You can't hit him 56.
2 for flinching is an exponential rule, Judge.
56 is an even number. It would have to be an odd number to be illegal because you get 2 at a time for flinching. God. Yeah. And one other detail on Kuhn and Powell's jail time. The prosecution appealed the absurdly short sentences, and the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals actually ruled in their favor, rejecting the bullshit excuses that Judge Davies gave. So the prison terms got extended. But then the case got appealed again, and the Supreme Court flipped it back to the original tiny little bullshit sentence.
The white sentence. We, the people, find the defendants white. I mean, less guilty, less.
Synonym. So once the dust settles and the embers burn out, whatever happened to Rodney King?
Yeah, so following the incident, Los Angeles Mayor Tom Bradley offered Rodney King $200,000 and 4 years of college tuition as an apology.
So insulting.
At which point, Rodney King folded up a piece of paper and slid it back across the table to Mayor Bradley that said, hey, go fuck yourself. And there's a fun diagram of how to do that I wrote at the bottom of that paper. Cool. And instead of taking that bullshit lowball, King sued the city, winning a settlement of $3.8 million, which still seems super low, but I'm glad he won, I guess. Something. And one last thing. My favorite part of King's story happens over the next couple decades before he died in 2012. This time includes some serious mental trauma and a struggle with addiction. So I'm obviously not talking about that part. That's not my favorite part. But during this time, I'm pretty sure Rodney King was just driving his car around Los Angeles, getting into stupid accidents, and then taunting the shit out of the LAPD when they showed up. This happens like a dozen different times, including a traffic stop on the literal 20th anniversary of the beating. And so he's just like handing over his license like, yep, the Rodney King. Yeah, that's right. Something on your shirt there. Face flick. Just fucking with you guys. Eye poke. Sorry. No. You come over here too. I'm going to poke you in the eye. Cool. Eye poke. No, I'm free to go? Great. That's what I thought. I thought I would be free to go.
So you get a get out of jail free card if you get beat about the head, back, and community chest. Okay. That makes sense.
Like, I'm not saying that, like, that's worth it, because clearly that is not worth it. But I am saying I'm glad he's having fun with it.
Right.
At the very least.
There you
Yeah,
go.
right. Find the good in it. All right. So, Heath, if you had to summarize what you learned in one sentence, what would it be?
Be white.
I meant this essay. I didn't mean through all of life.
not from
But
life.
I feel
there's
like not like you. I'm not like you should choose. If you could choose, don't. And you're in America, don't. I'm not saying one's better. I'm saying it would be. You get what I mean? Everybody understood me.
doesn't matter what you mean, Heath. Okay, so are you ready for the quiz?
I'm ready for the quiz.
All right, I will start. This whole unfortunate incident could never happen today because A, we've fixed the systemic problems of institutional racism. So done with. B, we've addressed the race-based disparities in trial and sentencing.
C.
Or C, he would have been shot before anyone had a chance to beat him.
Definitely C.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's funny. This is a funny show. Great topics. Heath.
Good one.
Hilarious.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely C. But also because cops are a little busy with California being on fire right now.
Yeah.
Way more than it was during the riots. So.
Yeah, right.
Because of the gay sex.
But C, yes.
All right, I've got one for you as well here, Heath. Many of the jurors from the Rodney King trial have gone on to prestigious careers in other fields. Which of the following is a job currently held by a former Rodney King juror? A, fact checker on Goop. B, gastroenterologist for Eli Bosnick.
Oh.
Or C, refereeing the NFC Championship game.
Actually, I'm going secret answer D. Rodney King's widow was actually one of the jurors who awarded him $3.8 million from the city of Los Angeles.
Amazing.
That's actually
Really?
a true fact. Yeah.
How does that work?
It's a tricky one.
Feel like it's after?
Yeah, they got married after.
She
Yep.
ordered?
Oh, shit.
So she's like, so I hear you got some money.
I feel like I threw some shade on Rodney King's whole thing, like again by accident. That's just, but that is a fact. What we just said.
Well, that's too awesome to be wrong. Okay, so yeah, you nailed my question.
And here's the question. What is the name of the Rodney King feature film?
Oh, Jesus.
A, Beat You to a Pulp Fiction. B, Fight Club. C, Citizen Kane. Or D, Monsters, Inc.
Oh.
All right. Well,
Citizen Kane.
I was thinking about a musical, the Rodney King and I, but it's definitely Citizen Kane. That's fantastic.
Oh, sorry. It continues to this day. Monsters, Inc.
Oh, all right.
Oh, I feel so bad that I now have to, after he made those series of jokes, announce Cecil as the winner. I feel like we're all dirtied by that. But Cecil, it's the way that this whole thing works. You won, apparently. So congratulations.
Okay, well, I think I should probably pick somebody who didn't have to sit through this. So I'm going to pick Eli Bosnick.
All right, well, for Cecil, Tom, and Heath, I'm Noah. Thanking you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week. And by then, Shit Schmear will be an expert on something else. Between now and then, you can hear more from Cecil and Tom on the Cognitive Dissonance podcast. You can hear more from Heath and me, along with that other dude from over at Scathing Atheist, Got Awful Movies, and the Skeptocrat. And if you'd like to help keep this show going, you can make a per-episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod, or leave us a 5-star review everywhere you can. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, check out past episodes, connect with us on social media, or check the show notes, be sure to check out citationpod.com.
All right. Try setting it to white officer, black suspect selling cigarettes, choked to death. Try that one.
Not guilty.
Weird. Okay, white officer, 12-year-old toy gun. Hit toy. And then...
Not guilty.
Fuck. All right, what about Hispanic officer, black suspect, streamed on Facebook Live? That's gonna...
Not guilty.
Yeah, these are all innocent. Oh,
no, I found one. White officer, black suspect, 16 shots to the back.
Guilty of murder.
Well, second degree murder.
I think the system is broken.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/getstarted. That's GREENLIGHT.com/getstarted.